So yes, welcome to the Washington Echoson Podcast, another episode. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. You know what it is. We're gonna review a Jardon Peterson interview we did for two reasons. One, is about equality, and the second one is about how to debate someone, how to be a good debater. So let's get into it.
Equality, Sophie, what does it mean to you?
Freedom.
Can you be more, is it equality of opportunity? Is it equal pay across the board? Is it something more than that?
I think equality is better for everyone. I think,
okay.
I'm really delighted. I love my job because it's an optimistic and a hopeful job, which is about creating more choices for people. I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Well, so you're going to have choices and equality of outcome.
Yeah,
what if people
possible.
choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia. So the Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries, and the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean by STEM fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you let men and women make their choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations. You don't get equality of outcome.
Could they not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No, because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear. And most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
So
I think the difference between Jordan and me is that we look at evidence and we lean towards different theories. So Jordan's theory is very much evolutionary, that there are inherent differences in men and women. Mine is very much more social role theory, if you like, and that men and women are taking different roles due to the expectations that society puts on them. And it's interesting that Jordan frequently cites Scandinavian countries where they've made more, like there's nowhere in the world that women are equal.
Of course, women are
Scandinavia
equal
has made the most progress
in the Western
towards,
world. Women are equal, have
shared
equal rights.
parenting, etc. That said,
we notice what Jardon Peterson is listening and taking
But
what
it's
he's
having
saying.
the opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same.
That's a fact.
It isn't a theory,
He's
it's
bringing
actually
up
data
facts.
driven by
Not his
tens of
feelings,
thousands of surveys
emotions.
and the best
Facts.
scientific literature on the topic. I know it's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow. They don't shrink.
So what I'm interested in is data and analysis as well, and I'm particularly interested in the ones presented, such as the ones by the University
No, she's cherry picking a specific
which discovered that
research
change
to
towards
back
gender
up what she said. She's not looking at the
is
whole
actually being
general
sold
thing.
by beliefs that are legitimizing social inequalities on the basis of sex. And I'm also interested, like Jordan, I look at the data and I look at the studies, and I'm really also very much interested in studies like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh God, so it's my fault.
So, no, well, you're leaving soon. It's
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different.
Naturally,
But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that? Just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours? They work more dangerous jobs.
Yeah.
They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis, and trying to address...
I was just going to say, can you come back on that?
What I'm trying to equalise is opportunity and choice.
Listen, no, she's changing her words. She's saying she wants equality of choice, but not... And notice, most people only want, women in general, only want equality in places of power, like politics, and being a CEO in big companies and big tech companies and all that. So they don't want equality in low income jobs. They only want equality in high income jobs. So you see, they don't really want equality. They pick and choose what they want, and they want power more over equality at all times.
Fine, that's equal. You agree on that, but we won't get equal outcome that way.
And I think that what happens then, nobody knows, because we've never done it.
We do know. We know what's happened in Scandinavia,
but it's not fully got there yet.
No, but it's going in the opposite direction that everyone predicted, and strongly.
I think one of the things I loved about Jordan's book,
she's saying, I'm thinking, I need facts, I don't know what I think.
Jordan, I've not read every line. But one of my favourite rules in Jordan's book is Rule 9, which says, assume the person you are listening to might know something
No,
you
she's
don't.
been condescending. You see that?
And I think that in a country where men outnumber women by 2 to 1 in Parliament, in local government, where women's voices are not equally represented in media, where our education systems still are teaching boys and girls ideas of pink and blue.
So remember what I said earlier, they only want pieces of power. I see, we always mentioned politics
optimistic, hopeful
and
people
business. That's
for
all she's talking
change.
about.
Okay. You kept very quiet through this, Michael. I'm going to make you put you under a bit of pressure too. I'm going to come to the cause in a moment. Your boss called the gender pay gap a burning injustice. Is it?
Yes, it is, because there should be inequality of opportunity. There needs to be the same rights. But you know something that surprised me, that neither of you, and equality of outcome, sure, all of that. But the one thing both of you haven't mentioned is the biological difference, which unfortunately affects women's career prospects, whether we like it or not. Babies. And that does cause a problem. You know, if I were to take a sabbatical from a corporation for a while, it's going to set me back slightly. And it is a problem that biologically it's women who have babies, not men.
Sure, but that's
why we're not
the Women's Equality Party is the only party in the UK that's got policies around shared parental leave.
Only in position of power she wants equality.
We're the only party that
Politics,
has got fully costed plans for universal free childcare.
Look, governmental jobs.
What we're saying is that
we're trying to
change the outcomes, and also men are joining our party. Men who are really tired. I'm sure you want the application.
Okay, forgive me, I want to take one call if you'll forgive me, because time is really short, and I owe it to the viewers to hear their views on this.
We've got Celine calling from Manchester.
Celine, good morning.
Hi Matthew, how you doing?
I'm very well, loving. I'm picking heaven today. What do we think about equality? Will it ever happen, Celine?
I was going to say I thought it was going to happen, but after listening to Jordan, he's swayed my opinion.
Why do you think?
Because Jardon Peterson speak facts when he's speaking. You don't think about feelings
cognitive creatures
or emotions. They deal with facts and data.
Technology.
But then I've been visited schools, and I work in STEM. I'm a software developer, and the number of women doing software development hasn't increased. I would have thought they would have increased more, but I went into secondary school to do GCSE IT stuff, and there's very, very few girls doing IT, and I'm thinking IT is the future, and the schools are pushing for more girls to go into IT, but there's only I've visited about 8 schools.
Can I just note, because I have 30 seconds, Sophie's idea, actually representations in the media could be affecting such choices. Geeks, we see geeks, bespectacled blokes with bad hair on computers. That's what tech means, isn't it?
I'm going to stop it here because
I think...
So as I was saying, people tend to want equality in only position of power or high paid positions, like she's in politics, so she's talking about equality in politics. Like in big tech companies, they want to be CEOs, but they don't want to put in the work, which is a lot of hours, which the men tend to do because men tend to work longer hours. Equality of outcome and equality of choice is impossible because if you choose to do A and I choose to do B, we can't have the same outcome because it's two different fields. It's like, it makes no sense. You can't have equality of outcome. That's impossible. That will never happen. Even if you put two persons in the same field, you will not have equality of outcome. One going to be better at something than the other, so they can't have equality of outcome. So that makes no sense. And that guy on the right, the one who's talking about equality and women getting pregnant, but that's a plus for most women, for companies, because companies have daycares for women, they have facilities for women. So that's not really an argument to make. It's kind of stupid to me, but anyway. Well, you see, the key, I'm talking about the debate. Jardon Peterson was speaking and quoting facts and data, and the young lady there was talking about, I feel. She said she liked data and facts as well, but she keep on saying, I feel like. She's not quoting data and facts as Jardon Peterson did. So that's why Jardon Peterson will always win this debate, because he listens and then he rebut with facts. Like when he say, if you want to equality in men in prison or bricklayers or those guys that do deadliest catchers, work on boats and those deadly jobs, or those guys in construction. You don't find females in construction. They only want to find, and vice versa. You have more women in nursing, in healthcare than men. And do you want to equalize that? So have a quota for men in nursing, if you want equality. But they don't want equality. They want equality when it suits them. So that's a good debate, and it teaches me how to debate, and also that equality is impossible between men and women, because we have different in so many ways. But anyway, that's just a quick look at Jardon Peterson. I will do more videos on him soon. So anyway, for now, deuces.